هذه الجلسة سوف تكون في اللغة الإنجليزية، ومن يحتاج إلى ترجمة لدينا الترجمة. أرجو من الجميع الحفاظ على الهدوء. لآخر مرة أطلب من الجميع الحفاظ على الهدوء. شكرا.
شكرا دكتور سامي. إذن كما ذكر دكتور سامي، هاي الجلسة راح تكون قسم منها عبر الزوم، والقسم الآخر مع ضيفي هنا. I would like to invite to the stage Mr. Matthew Cohen, מנהל תחום צמיחה כלכלית, משאבי טבע ותשתיות ב-USAID. Hello Matthew. You have your mic here.
תודה.
I'm sorry, I should start with the Zoom in order to finish, and then we will continue together. So through the Zoom, we say good afternoon, Professor Boaz Al-Alouf, חבר דירקטוריון בבנק העולמי בוושינגטון, member of board of directors in the World Bank. Good afternoon, Professor Boaz Al-Alouf.
Good afternoon and good morning from DC. By the way, not a professor yet, but maybe in the future. It's good to be here.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Yes, it's like 20 minutes to 4 here, and it's early morning there. Anyway, we will try to do this conversation with you, and I should please start with the geopolitical changes. How do you see the impact of them on the Arab citizens in Israel?
So that's a very interesting question, and I think we need to differentiate between the potential and what's actually going on the ground. So with regard to the potential is amazing. You know, since 2020, we've seen this great tectonic change, regional change with the Abraham Accords. And all of a sudden, these great economies within the region were open for business for Israelis, Arabs, Jews, everyone, right? And I was leading many of the initiatives back in my previous position in the Israeli Ministry of Finance. And you know, all of a sudden, we've seen this amazing, I would say equivalent, Hong Kong equivalent economy like the UAE, opening up for business for the Israeli business sector. And now within the government, we were trying to do whatever we can to create the right kind of infrastructure for the business sector activity. Now here, you know, the Arab business sector has a great potential, you know, because in my mind, right, and also in many of the minds of government officials, Arab business persons could be the right kind of bridge between the different business communities, because we're talking about familiarity, cultural familiarity, understanding the business culture in the UAE, in Bahrain, in Morocco. Of course, the language barrier is out the window. So the potential is great, and these really tremendous regional changes.
So what should be done, Professor Boaz Al-Alouf, in order that the business in the Arab community or Arab businessmen turn their business from local to international through the agreements that you mentioned?
So let me use an example. Just a few days ago, the G20, after the G20, US and India announced an endorsement of a great initiative, an initiative to connect India through the Middle East all the way to Europe. They mentioned Israel specifically. And this correlates to a great project that the Israeli government is promoting and the World Bank is looking into, which is connecting and creating a trade route from the Gulf through Saudi, Jordan, and Israel all the way to Europe, boosting trade and creating more jobs and more opportunities. So, you know, on the authorities' hands, they need to do whatever they can, right, to promote such amazing projects. And we can go into this specific project if you'd like. On the business community side, they need to tap in to those opportunities. They need to push, right, to push and try to get as much involved as possible. I know, for example, the Minister of Foreign Affairs just made a trip to Bahrain. So, and I know there was a great effort to have Arab business persons joining him, right, on this delegation. And the business community, the Arab business community, needs to do whatever it can to tap into those opportunities, right? Now, for coming from the World Bank is now looking at these regional projects, regional initiatives, and looking first if they are economically viable. Once they are, I think the potential is amazing. The potential is amazing because there would be so many points along the way.
Okay, as long as you're with us, and I see that the Zoom is working fine so far, so let me please join also Mr. Matthew Cohen, and Professor Boaz mentioned the agreements. Can you do any comparison between different agreements? Because Israel now has peace agreements, treaty with like Egypt, Jordan, the Emirates, Bahrain, and many countries. Is there any difference between them? Considering the Arab citizens, of course, and business and economy.
Okay, so from our perspective, irrespective of what is going on with the Abraham Accords, we want the Arab community within Israel to look east. We want them to look at the Palestinian economy and how they can serve as drivers for investment, drivers for utilizing the capital and the talent that exists there, and also moving into the greater Middle East region. So we think there's a lot of potential for technology transfers. We think there's a lot of potential for investment and a lot of potential for growth and eventual peace through economic prosperity.
But when you have potential, you need someone to help you to use this potential in order to succeed in this interaction. What can everybody do here, whether the ministry is the Ministry of Finance or other ministries in Israel, in order to help the Arab community, you know, to succeed abroad?
Wow, there's a lot of different ways that they can work together. I think when we as USAID look at the problem, what we are trying to do is increase cross-border collaboration, increase trade, regional trade. We are focused a lot on we are the USAID West Bank and Gaza mission, so we are focused a lot on the Palestinian people in West Bank and Gaza, but also the Israeli connection and the advantage that Israel has in terms of technology, in terms of know-how, and in terms of business leadership. So we want to see that being invested. Now, your question is, how can these ministries work together? Well, they are working together in a lot of ways to facilitate trade. But there's a lot more that can be done. We believe that they can make the trade even easier through things like bonded warehouses, by opening up the King Hussein Allenby Bridge to more trade. We want to see enhanced cooperation between the ministries, and we do see it on a working level.
Professor Boaz Al-Aluf, you can hear me, yes? You're still with us? Yes, it's working.
I'm here, don't worry. Yes.
The Arab minority, like 20% of Israeli citizens, how can you really make the comparison between any success for the whole Israeli society and for the 20%? Is there a difference? Is there a gap, for example, in succeeding abroad or in succeeding in improving the economy of themselves, of ourselves as an Arab? I'm asking you this.
Yes. It's kind of a difficult question, but I do think that there is a difference. Of course, when you look at sometimes actions done by the Israeli government in the regional level, in an international level, a lot of times the government thinks at the economy as a whole, right? Even with the Abraham Accords, many of the moves made or the infrastructure created was to boost economic activity as a whole. If you're signing tax treaties, if you're signing free trade agreements, that provides the right kind of infrastructure for the entire business community.
But sometimes looking at it as a whole is not really accurate, because the Arab citizens' point of start, the point where they start, is much behind the starting point of the whole Israeli society.
Yeah, definitely. So, there are, I know, several programs that the Israeli government is playing, such as student exchange and other programs. But I do think that there could utilize more of their abilities to boost Arab population. It's not done enough. There's always room for more. Now, the World Bank, of course, like USAID, is focusing more on West Bank and Gaza, but actually that link, right, to bring those business communities together, to bring Israeli business community with maybe an emphasis on the Arab business community and the Palestinian business community, could go a long way. So we want to see more type of collaborations. Even this last big project, the trade project, right? It's all about connecting as much as possible, connecting Israel, connecting the Palestinian Authority, connecting Jordan, and there's actually an inherent advantage to the Arab business community in Israel, but it's not yet tapped. We need to think about the right way to engage the Arab business community more.
And it seems that Matthew here agrees, because you're moving your head. So what can you add, and also tell us about what you are doing, USAID, because you mainly work in the West Bank and Gaza Strip. But when we look at the Arab citizens minority in Israel, there are regions that really live in bad conditions, especially like if we see the Negev, the south. So maybe you can add something and then answer my question, please.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more that there's a key resource among the Arab community within Israel that is underutilized. We want to see more cross-border. We want to see more investments and partnerships. USAID launched our bilateral assistance program is over the last 3 years, we are investing about $500 million. There is a $250 million 5-year program, about $50 million a year, dedicated solely to advancing peaceful interactions on an economic basis and on a people-to-people basis between Israelis, those can be Arab Israelis and Jewish Israelis, and Palestinians. And we launched a $90 million contract, $87 million.
And do you really try to check if there are Arabs among the Israeli side that are signing these agreements?
Yes, and there are, and we are encouraging more. We have set aside up to $20 million for small grants that encourage cooperation, technology transfers, joint ventures. And this is not limited to just Arab Israelis, but it's also Jewish Israelis. It's establishing ties and then making them stronger on regional trade operations, and not just for businesses, but also for research exchanges, for scholarships and internships, pathways to jobs, creating more investment in tech in the West Bank from Israeli companies and involvement. So there's a lot of things that we can do to strengthen both communities and both sides.
Okay, in order to end with you, Professor Boaz Al-Alouf, I would like to hear something from you, with what would you like to end this conversation, especially that you are talking to the Arab minority here in Sakhnin, an Arab city in the Galilee. So what would you like to say from the place you are, the World Bank? This is a big thing.
It is a big thing. I think that I would like to leave with an optimistic tone. These regional changes that we've seen in recent years have inherent potential, a great potential. The question is, how do we get to that potential and implement it, right? And the Arab population, the Arab leadership, the business leaders need to have a serious discussion, both with the Israeli government, to see how they tap into those international initiatives. And also the World Bank. The World Bank, you know, it doesn't see just the economic impact of things, but societal impacts and climate impacts and you know, public goods impacts. So you know, we will be happy to any kind of ideas and collaborations. There's a lot of room for initiatives, right? And the World Bank, by the way, comes with a lot of funds, and we just need to find a way to utilize those. So the business leaders and the political leaders within the Arab community need to turn to the World Bank. My door is always open to local leaders, to political leaders within Israel, and try to tap into those international, regional activities and implement that potential.
Thank you very much, Professor Boaz Al-Alouf, חבר דירקטוריון בבנק העולמי from Washington. Thank you very much and have a good day. You're starting your day now. Good morning, sir.
Yes, have a great day.
Thank you. And Chag Sameach for Rosh Hashanah, of course. Mr. Matthew Cohen, he talked about leadership. He said potential. How would you like to end this conversation, this discussion about what do you expect from the Arab minority here in order to improve the economic way that we are leading our society?
So USAID is an organization, it's part of the US government, it's part of the US Embassy team. What we want are your ideas. We want to help support your ideas. And we have active solicitations out there asking simple proposals, 5-page proposals that we can help you develop into grants and that we would provide funding for any ideas that you have, whether they be within the Arab minority communities within Israel working to create more prosperity, or whether they be across border. And so if you go to our website, if you look at our public announcements, we are looking for your ideas. We are ready to fund it and support you. So thank you.
You very much. And also Rosh Hashanah, yes? So Shana Tova. Mr. Matthew Cohen, מנהל תחום צמיחה כלכלית, משאבי טבע ותשתיות ב-USAID. Thank you very much for being with us. Thank you, sir.